that because it's not you in the first place. But in hindsight now, if you look at the effects it has on the body, they're not positive. So it's actually a very positive thing for the body to meditate. So now I'm going to start it again for the body, not for spiritual purposes, but for the body. The brain and the body, it really helps. And they could do with all the help they can get. Yeah, and I can't say we're getting that from the medical system. And the waiting list is incredibly long to get to the Alzheimer's clinic. So we'll try and see if we can get a brain scan. They've still been trying. We haven't managed to get from anyone yet, no matter how much you ask for a PET scan or a brain scan, to have a look at actually what's going on there. That would be, you'd think the first thing, no. No, we've had lots of blood tests, and because you're not, you see, this is the weird system they've got here. If your blood sugar is, say, 6, you are diabetic. If it's 5.9, you are not diabetic, even though it's like that much of a difference and you're pre-diabetic, so you're fine. Or, you know, whatever, the levels are, wow, as I say, it's frightening. So they don't believe in a lot of these things. A lot of the latest research they're unaware of. And what causes it, and inflammation, or even looking for the cause. They're not interested. So, yeah, anyway, after my disastrous fail on the memory test, you know, they do like a memory thing, yeah, cognitive thing, and then they from that they send you to the Alzheimer's so-called clinic. Long story, we won't even go there. Obviously, I did not do well on that, which is, well, that was going to be a no-brainer. It doesn't, you know you're having a problem, so it's not like it's going to be a surprise. But oh yeah, no, it's the system here is just so, wow, it's not even, it's not even go down that road. So yeah, we're going to try and see if we can privately get it looked at, just that I can have a look what's happening with the brain, how much, if gray matter's there, what parts of the brain, any problems, damage. You see, because of what happened here as well, and you officially laid a complaint against this practice, we have a problem. I don't think they really want to go and look at the brain too much or acknowledge anything or any problems with it because of what happened, and because you told them, and because you said it was, and it was a medicine. And they didn't want to admit it, because it would mean admitting that medicine caused it. They didn't pick it up, as you were telling them, or anything. So, or even admitting there was damage done, because then it means you could sue them, and obviously it's all about liability. That's all they cared about. So we're kind of in a circle here. So it was like, oh, let's not waste our time trying to fight to get, they refuse to do any more tests. And they won't do, no matter how many times. It's the only thing they haven't done is looked at the brain. I mean, they've taken so many tests because of the gut. But as I say, the minute I stopped eating any carbohydrates of any kind, and dairy, the gut was in perfect order. So if you cut out the dairy and it's amazing. And all carbohydrates of any form, any grains as well. The gut was so perfect. The physical body improved a lot, and the health. So yeah, but we can see that the brain, and if those things are really affecting the brain. And I know it's a genetic thing. We all wear all these things. But anyway, so there we are. We're going to try and see if I can get it privately, get a neurologist and have my actually looked at. Then I have an idea of how much damage, what's there, what's not there. I was actually trying to get a PET scan in 2019 after this damage happened, and I had terrible physical problems. Wow, all kinds of cognitive and physical problems. But then with the lockdown, they cancelled all, unless it was an emergency, procedures, and you didn't want to be an arsehole and selfish because it wasn't an emergency procedure, and there were people like waiting for cancer treatment. So my PET scan was due in the lockdown, but I didn't take it up, on request because of this, because they said, please don't go in unless it's emergencies, this and that. So I didn't, you see. But that was then, anyway, a lot of work. So let's see. I'm going to try and get it privately, through someone looked at, and then at least have an idea what's in the brain. Damage, this, that, white matter, grey matter build-up, anything like that, you know what I mean? And we're going to meditate, as I say, start meditating, and that helps immensely we're aware of all this thing. We're also aware that you're creating this reality. So we're going to do that road like we did before, which helped then and got rid of everything. Yes, as I say, there's an awareness here that there's a genetic, we have that gene in the family. See, because of my father was diabetic and died of complications. His brother was diabetic and died of complications with it. His mother, my grandmother on that side, had Alzheimer's, started young, my age actually. She was, wow. So, yeah. My mother and her mother died very young, so we didn't get a chance to find out, from them. But on my father's side, wow, yeah. So yes, I definitely have that in the family, and I have had problems with my sugar before. Blood sugar issues in this family, it's played up here. So yeah, considering all of those things, I have to stick to keto diet, a very, very strict keto diet. High meat, which really is helping everything, my health, the body, the fat, teeth, everything's happy anyway. Meat, fat, and vegetables, and increase some more. I've never been one for oily fish, which is high in omega-3s, which are the oil-based fish. I've always liked the light fish, the white, like the sole, cod, haddock. I've never been a tuna mackerel. I like smoked mackerel, but that's great omega-3 for the brain. The oil-based, but the taste of them, it's that kind of, it's just never been I had anchovies the other day for that omega-3s. So yeah, we'll see. So it's a matter of doing everything I can again, like I did before, physical exercising, meditating, walking, the diet. Yeah. Yes, I know that. Oh, yeah, I did that. Well, how do you think I got better last time? Biology of Belief. Absolutely. My mother had the book, and she died of cancer. How's that? So weird. When she died, one of the books in her bookshelf was the Biology of Belief, when it came out then, and she got cancer and she died. She was 62. But that was, that was family trauma and stuff she had hung on to her whole life. Suppressed anger, suppressed hurt, suppressed trauma. There's been a lot of, take note, a lot of work and a lot of trauma in this family. So in this DNA and ancestry, there was a lot of patterns and work to overcome. There was a huge amount of trauma. But both sides of my family actually were, there's nothing to be sorry about. It's just an illusion. That's what has happened. Nothing to be sorry. My mother was, jeez, man. My mom's mother, grew up in Surrey. He was farmer. He was actually a farmer. And they farmed strawberries and, manjtu peas, normal peas, sugar peas, snap peas. That's what they farmed in the UK. But her mother, that was her stepdad. My gran, let's say, married a man who was a farmer, English farmer. And he was a pedophile, obviously, by the looks of it. So what happened was my mother was sexually abused by him, before, and then when I think she got to 12, 13, he started raping her. And he raped her continuously until she left home to become a nurse. She went to a very good nursing college in England, Royal Nursing School, to become a nursing sister, so she could actually, because you could live in, to get away from home. And this we found out on her deathbed. So as I was saying, so there was a lot of stuff in this family, a lot of hidden in the closets. My uncle died of cancer. My dad, his brothers, there was a lot of stuff. Remember, they also came through the war. So there was a huge amount of shit in my family closet and trauma. There's definitely my brothers, my uncle, my dad, and his brothers were in boarding schools. In those days, the wealthy sent their kids to good boarding schools. And everyone's realizing these days, look at all the scandals coming out, and abuse coming out. Well, that's what happened. So my father went to some very, I can't say pleasant things at boarding school, and it looks like his brothers did too, because they had problems and they didn't speak out. My father clearly had problems, but he also verbalized a lot of them. he had huge detachment issues and problems and abandonment issues, and wow. So there was definitely sexual abuse and misconduct going on, and all kinds of things that happened. So, not that you know anything like this as a child, because in those days everyone pretended everything was fine. They didn't go to shrinks. There was no such thing as talking about your problems, and you didn't, and you kept it quiet. You didn't air your laundry, and you sucked your up at, anyway. So like coming out. So yeah, and coming from money in Victorian times, there was a lot of shit. A lot. Lots of, wow, karmic patterns and things, and wow, interesting stuff in this family. And now when you wake it up and you into story anyway, now none of it's true, the past, it's appearance of a story. But in the appearance of the story, very interesting if you look back and you were like, wow. So this all became obviously more apparent when you got older. You were aware that, okay, ooh, shame. Their behavior and choices and things made sense when you understood if the body so-called, this is what happened to them and the lives they led and their families, and wow. So I'm saying we have a lot of, and this is carrying through. The patterns are repeating because our families grew up in the Second World War. Their parents, I mean, there's a lot of these programs and family and evil and this and that and they're wrong. All these, you can see it. You're watching these patterns being repeated and spewed out there unconsciously because people are not realizing what they are, what this is, and working on it at all. So this is what I'm saying, this whole thing is happening within families. There's nothing to be sorry about. It's a story. It's a story, and that's what I'm saying. Once you're aware of it, you can release it. You don't identify with it, you release. And then first of all, for the body is a lot better, and it's not going to repeat itself. So you've cleaned it up in the genetics and the DNA of the body and the story, and the next story is better, which most are unaware. When it dreams again, which you will, as the one, you're going to, this is infinite, eternal, there's no time. So another body is going to appear, and then you're going to get bored. Oh, let me play that, character. Before you realize it again, whoopsie, you're thinking you're some other character in another, having another life story or whatever. Another illusion goes on, another dream goes on. So yeah, but at least then you remember. That has now been cleared. That pattern, as they call karmic, that are held in the bodies is clear. So that any other body you take on again is not going to be, repeated. Secondly, first of all, if you're not even focusing on the body and believing you're the body, that definitely helps, because the body's going to be there and you're not going to buy any of the stories and thoughts and or narrative that appears. Yes. No, I've already healed the generational trauma. I'm not healing it now. This was all done before that I discovered, first of all, that there isn't anyone. That's a good thing. And we also decided, remember, as they say, it's an illusion, but the illusion doesn't stop. Listen to anyone talking about or sharing the non-duality, right? Same with you. When I saw, you were aware that I wasn't in a body, I'm not a body, I wasn't even in the bloody body, any of this is not true, whatever else, it doesn't mean it stopped. It still carries on. You're still going to see your kids. They still so-called, this body has children. You have parents. The world is out, it still appears, whatever appears now. Right now, there is no world out there. Right now, there's only this room, appearance of a room, a passage, and a screen, and this body's talking to letters that are appearing on a screen with little faces behind them. Really, that's what's happening. So that's what I'm saying. And this is why collectively in the dream, although it's an illusion, you're not the body, we work, those that are awake, work on it themselves. Why? It's because, as the gurus all say, because the body carries on, the body will suffer in the story if it is not changed. It's infinite. And this is what you're seeing repeating now. The rulers, the leaders, the bankers, the presidents, the same thing. And the same families are just repeating the same pattern. And you're like, oh, because they're unawake. And you can see they're going to self-destruct, but there's nothing you can do about it because they don't see it, you see. They're just going to, yeah, you're aware. And it's just love and acceptance, no matter what, you know, because that's what I'm saying. There's no one really in the body. It's a dream, yeah, it's a, yeah, let's not even go there. It's a funny balance, as they always say. There is no world, and no one. Don't tell it to them, though. They very much believe that. And the thoughts and how bad those people are. And, you know, as I'm saying, in the illusion that we're going to repeat the same behavior. We are now busy going through the Marshall Plan. Well, they're trying to push through the Marshall Plan 2.0. So the same sort of thing that we did after the war. And expecting a different outcome and wanting to create another kind of Cold War and whatever. And no, it's going to be fine. It'll be a little bit fun. No one's going to be upset. We're not going to, you know, whatever. They want to go down the same road because that's why, you see, because everyone knows when you're awake, these things repeat. So to show you, you didn't see that. Do you want to see it from a higher level and make a higher choice now with a higher outcome or higher timeline or more? Whatever. No. Because we know as bodies like this, I don't know how many of you kept wondering why things kept happening in your life and you couldn't understand why they kept repeating the same thing and you were like, why me? That's why. And when you wake up, you're like, oh, all right. These stories, these beliefs, these patterns, this karma, the family, the DNA was held in the body. Hi, I'm okay, thank you. I'm still here. As I say, don't give up on me. I'm not fond of Facebook. I mean, Facebook, TikTok. As I say, I mentioned in the beginning the algorithms and the, you know, how it's being manipulated at the moment. You've been force-fed stuff you do not want to watch or participate, but no matter how much you try, you still get force-fed it or block, and then another channel appears. It's really not here. Not enjoying the content on here anymore because there isn't any. The only thing I do see is the stuff the people I follow, but any new content that I'd like to see is not being shown. And so yeah, you're very restricted on what you are shown and fed, and just not pleasant. But that's, as I'm saying, you observe it, and you are seeing the repeat patterns, you know, of the collective consciousness, the rulers, you can see their trauma and their baggage and their ancestry repeating itself by their decisions. So it's fascinating. It is fascinating for anyone awake. If you know what this is and you understand why you're seeing these things go on. It's giving them a choice to make a different story, create a different dream. So when the next body drops in, they're not going to suffer. And repeat, you know, being on that, maybe on the falling side of because that's, hi Steve, how are you? So you're not going to, as we know, it goes in a cycle, right? So you can repeat that thing and have a nice outcome, or repeat that thing and have a bad outcome. Just, you know, it's because there's no time. Everything's appearing now, so the story will just go on. That's why I say eternity, infinite. The dream can go on infinitely, eternally, like a million years. You can be asleep and just be stuck in this. And that's why people think they're victims, but it's no, because they don't realize they are the one who is seeing. They are the seer. There's no separate one here. They are the creator itself. Imagining it's a person creating all kinds of stuff it doesn't want to, because it's not the person. It's not even in a body. So it's, you know, it's all what it's thinking is its entire reality is appearing around it. So it's trying to escape from itself. It's chasing its own tail. It's like, no, don't like this, but it's the one who's creating it, you know what I mean? It's the one who's, the whole bubble, the whole world, the appearance of the screen in my room is being created here. It's amazing when you see it. When you're able to pull out of it and go back into it, like there's nothing, and you drop into it, and all of a sudden in the bubble, it's like energy. It's why people think they've got a torus field. That's illusion. The torus field is the illusion of an energy bubble, a separate being. It's that contracted energy that's creating this me and the whole world around it. When it pops, as those who have popped it, non-dual teachers, gurus tell you, there's nothing. But when you ascend into that bubble, wow, it is much lower frequency. It's dense, and you drop into it, and it's like, I can't explain it. I did explain it when I was showing or trying to explain what I was seeing with people as I was, went through this process. It was fascinating because as you focus on, let's say, person now, and now you want to focus in on them, that's exactly what happens. You are focusing. People think they're focusing on the energy. No. So you lower the thing, you drop into this. So all of a sudden, I went down on the person. I'm concentrating on the person, and poof, I get in their bubble, and everything, this whole little world, pictures, I could see everything that they thought, so-called, that energy, because it's with it held in like a bubble. It's like it's the whole universe is within one little bubble. Everything, your whole world, everything you're seeing, this movie, the picture projector, is like contained within this bubble of energy. And when you dropped into, I'm not going to mention, it was a person I experimented on, not knowing what I was going to do. It was quite interesting doing it. It was like, wow. And it felt very dense. As you come down, when they're in this bubble, it's not nice because you're slowing, condensing the energy. And then, poof, the whole thing appeared like the reality, like you see the world as it is, like the movie screen, the picture now appears. Wow. And I could see everything that person wanted, thought of, liked, their wishes, their dreams, their whole, because it's just thoughts, concepts. So everything, their desires, their wish list. It was like, ooh. Not that I disclosed it all. Because people say they'd be embarrassed because they think they are the person. And now you've just not, couldn't get more intimate if you tried. Ooh, I'm dropping into the bubble because you are the infinite. It's amazing anyway. Wow. Wow, there we are. But if you stop believing you are any separate person and in a body and exist, that's just a thought. As I say, you will start experiencing pulling further and further away from this body. You will start seeing the body in you as such, and then and then until the bubble pops, and then there's nothing. But before that, you can drop, as I say, as you pull back down, as you lower down. That's what you experience. It's like weird. It's like, I've described it I made a few back then Facebook videos about it when I was in this process of dissolving the separate one. There's just no separate one, but belief that, energy starts disappearing. Very interesting. So there's love and there's compassion, and I say, and there's, haven't given up yet. There's awareness. We actually know there's a problem. As I said, I was expanding the cognitive speed process here is wow. The brain's process has slowed down like wow. And when I'm having a bad day, it is like very badly wow. Because even that memory test, I failed really badly. But it's very slow. So we're trying to, as I say now, from all these angles, reverse it again. At 60, but anyway, but no resistance, but doing everything in the power without resistance, not trying to say we don't want this or push it away or deny it, because we are aware there's a problem. As I say, it's repeating, because like all cycles, this is what this body went through, and there was huge fear and resistance to going to a care home or staying in a wheelchair. It was like, no. So it's been presented with the same problem again, but this time there's no fear, anger, any of those, you know what I mean? We're like, okay, and there's love for the body, is appreciation for the body, and if the body's going to check out, it's okay too. There's no trying to grasp or hold on to life or anything, but we're going to do what's best for the body, but not from a place of like before. It was determination and fear It's because this one didn't know what it was like not to be busy, not to be vulnerable, not to rely on anybody else, not to not work. It was like just there was such a fear of not being able to work, because that's all you did all your life. How are you going to look after yourself as a single person and single parent and single provider? It was the biggest fear this one had. And of course, there it gets dished up to you when you're unable to function or work, and you're not even able to, like, walk down the road without falling over sometimes or banging into a wall, or you were really in a bad way. It's frightening. So there was a lot of fear when this happened a few years ago. Not that long ago. But now there's not. So yes, we know there's a clear problem with carbohydrates and sugar and insulin here, and the effect on the brain, big time. Very obvious. And all these things. But I mean, also the body's old. It's really, been through the ringer and suffered huge trauma and burnouts and nervous system dysregulation. So there's love and compassion for this body. It's a story. As we know, that's also a story, and it's a new body every day. So it's a very interesting place to be, because there's an awareness of the actual reality. There's awareness of the consciousness. As I say, it's a new body. But as much as there's also an awareness as the one, which is not a separate one, has no control over this body. So if this body is meant to go that way, because that's just whatever, it's in the story, how the plan, whatever, then it's going to, you know what I mean? But there's going to be no anger, resistance, fear. You go with the flow, and there's just love, and so when the body has a little wobble, we're like, okay, body, there's love, and there's compassion for the body for what it's actually been through. So like the other night, the heart started, I thought, here are we going to go again. So I started having pains down my left arm. And you're aware, and you're like, that's not good, We know that. Sometimes they'll, I'm like, okay, we got to be careful now. But, you know what I mean? There's nothing you can do about that. Nothing. There's no you to do anything about it. So I'm saying you have no control over the body and when the body is going to die. Yeah, exactly. Exactly, that's what there is here. Because this body's already died. And trust me, you had no idea you were going to die. There was no forewarning. I'd been to the doctors and said to them, listen, there's something very wrong with the brain and the heart. No, they just popped you on the ECG again recently. No, nothing wrong, No, our tests are fine. Whatever. Meanwhile, funny enough, it tells you on the medicine there, if they're having these problems, heart failure is one of the symptoms, one of the side effects. Stop this immediately. Anyway, we can laugh now. So we're lying in bed. Of course, we've been through all the horrendous things, symptoms. We had all kinds of problems, brain damage, And as we're recovering from all this horrendous trauma and brain damage and stuff the body's just been through, the heart's no warning, hey? A year of all this on the medicine. Yes, it did say heart failure, heart attack and liver failure, but I mean, anyway. So there we are, a year later, and it starts. You're lying in bed, and all of a sudden the heart starts misbeating. It's like a how do I say, like fluttering, like it starts like not working properly, and then you start getting real pain. It's actually very painful. I didn't realize that heart attacks or heart failure is very painful, actually. It can be quite sore. And then, as I say, pain, but then sharp pains. And the heart's like, then it's not, and then it's, you realize, okay, you knew you were going to check out. That was pretty obvious, because I'd also done nursing. I had done my mother was a theatre sister. I explained reasons why in the video, but my mum was a theatre sister, and I grew up with all her books, and so nursing was like, it came naturally here. I did very well, top of my class actually, and it came naturally here. So I never became a nurse. I never took up nursing after doing it all, but because the money in those days and the shifts were one night, it was 1 week early, 1 week late. And that's so bad for the body because, you know, to try and adjust to a night shift. So you work it was like working night shift for 1 week and working day shift. And it was like $300 or something was your salary. And it was really bad for those days. Nurses were so poorly paid compared to the rest of the, you know, population. Anyway, so, you know, you've done enough. And then also kept interest in all these things. So when this happened, you knew you were dying. You knew what was going on. And you knew there was no time to put your phone on the call for help anyway. So whatever. And then bam. Hi, Thomas. Hey, lovely to see you. Hi. So there we are. It was over quite quickly. How are you? Talking about heart failure, which you should know, you're saying you've got a pacemaker. We're just sharing, you know, what happened a few years ago. There's no fear anymore. Hi, yeah. Yeah, people always think you're still going to be here. Sometimes, I was just saying that I had a problem about 2 nights ago. And the night afterward, the heart started doing it. And I was like, are we going to go again? Anyway, no. So every day that the body's still here is a surprise and a blessing, you know. And there's no attachment, there's no fear of it or no attachment to it either. But so don't give up, Thomas, because I'm just saying now, oh, well, that's what I'm saying. There's no worry. You know if it is. It's over quite quickly. Boom, you know, there we are. It's quite quick. And you can actually ask for no pain, and the pain actually goes. Because when you're awakened, so if you're ever in that situation, anybody, and you find yourself dying and it's painful, you can ask them can we just not have the pain? And the pain was taken away. Blessings. So then, yeah. But if you think you're the body, it's frightening. Yeah, we're still here. No, as I'm just saying, don't give up yet. I'm not a TikTok. I'm not enjoying TikTok, the platform anymore, for what it's become. And the content is just so... But then it's duality, you see. Also got to be aware of that, as I was saying. When, like anything, you know, you swing, you have a big burst in light and you go up. So-called frequency consciousness. And then you're going to have the opposite. That's what happens. And then it's going to... Then everyone knows then a huge amount of shadow work or darkness comes up or shit. Because this is the game of duality, which the body is in. So we had a big wave of light, and we were headed it in we had high frequency, we were heading in a very positive direction. We had a big increase in light and consciousness and so-called on the planet. So naturally it has swung to the opposite direction now. Because that's why I say to people, don't react to the external in an emotional way or negative way or anger or fear. Because then you are just feeding energy into what you don't want. And it's an appearance. It's just coming around again for you to like believe it or just ignore it or accept it or love it, you know, not to condone it or anything else. And it will go. So the least we react to it, the faster it will go. It's like anything like this. You accept and love, like here. There's an acceptance of what's going on with the body. There's no fear, no anger, no trying to resist it, push it away. There's love. Why? Because if you fully accept it, it can leave. When you resist something, it will not go. So there mustn't be resistance to what's happening in anything, in just advice-wise, in your life or in the external. Because you're saying, I don't like this is not right, it can't be, but it is what's appearing already. It's source. It's part of source. All is. There's no dark. The dark and the light is the same one. The opposites in the story, which you're not. You're the one who's watching the story anyway, but the story contains duality. So at the moment, we had this whole boom, all going positive towards the light, and now the pendulum has swung back to darkness. And now we are we're going through the opposite at the moment. You can see the contents all gone completely, you know, anger, fighting, negative, this, that, blah, 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 you know. Because that's just it. And it's also all right. So we just got to realize that this is it. And like I was saying, understand why we're seeing it. It's like any of your shadow work or the collective shadow, planetary shadow. Understand what it is, and we're not this time angry or reject it. blame or whatever else. We see why it's there. We accept it. We love and compassion for all. You see, because there is no other. Even those playing the role of the bad or the dark or the whatever don't even realize, I'm saying, the repeating patterns. That's all they are. It's a character, body repeating. It's got playing, you know. Went to that. So there we are. Good to see you, Thomas. I actually want to see Cassandra. Yeah, I do miss you guys. Definitely some lovely people have been following me on here for a long time. Oh, such lovely people. So I do miss the beautiful people that I met on TikTok, because honestly there were such amazing people. There was such positivity and love and light on this platform. So we got to understand at the moment it's a game of duality. It's swung to the opposite. It's swung to the opposite side again, because that's it, you know. And instead of rejecting it, thanks. Instead of rejecting it or fearing it or saying it's wrong or anger, it's not wrong. Nothing's wrong, because there's only one. It's just unconscious behavior. It's unconscious patterns, and the patterns are coming through just to see if you want to choose them again. Like, do we want to choose war again? Do we want to choose divide, blame, separation, hate? You know, do we want to repeat any of the global patterns and behavior that the planet has gone through? Yeah, it's okay. Have we learned? No. You know what I mean? That's all they are. And it's just an appearance. It's because the bodies and the programs have been taught this, and they're just coming up again. And if we just see them and show love at them, we just watch them like you would anything. They see it come up, give it love and compassion, no judgment, and it's all okay. It's not right or wrong, and then it will be fine. It's acceptance of what's happening. Big lesson here. You know, and the same thing, funny enough, because it kept popping up here. I know it was almost an acceptance of death. Yeah, you know, none of the bodies are going to stick around. That is just a fact. So that's why they're also here, because you've already been through it anyway. So there's no fear now, you see, of checking out of the body anyway. So there's acceptance of what's going on. So you're allowing it to move or not to move, and either way, it's okay. And it will play out then. Now you've infinite possibilities. So now it will can play out to the highest outcome or not. I mean, I don't know. You know, if there's nothing more for this body or character to achieve, then it will. If there is, then it won't. You see. So either way, there's no you that has control over it anyway. Otherwise, you'd be choosing your everything consciously. The so-called one that thinks it's a separate one and alive and isn't a body, that has. If you reflect on your life, you didn't get everything you wanted, didn't go the way you wanted everything to go, because there is no separate you, and there's contrast, and it's the body's part of the duality game. So right now, we're seeing the dark fight back, taking control, as you notice, and just having their little time. As I say, do we want to repeat it again? It's come up again for us to see. Do we want to walk down that road again of us against them and blame and hate and division and or not? Do we want to create the same, historic stories? Oh, well, yeah, interesting. Or not. And that's all. They're just coming up in our appearance, not for us not to judge and say, yes, right, no, blame, hate, to understand why they're there, and give them love and acceptance, and then create, as I say, choose something from a positive, but from that, not like that is wrong and we're going to choose that because we're resistant. Accepting what's coming up, knowing why, sending it love, being understanding, but, being neutral. And so most likely then a higher outcome is available. Yeah. Anyway. It is interesting, very interesting. So there we are, and we will see. As I say, so sometimes I really battled, and it's been difficult to talk then when the brain is really battling. So it's not like I can come on here and have conversations because then I battle to talk. And I'm tired, the brain hurts sometimes. But at the moment you can see it's going through a goodish patch. I've just come out of a not such goodish one. So I'm going through a goodish patch. And now I'm trying to get out there again, walking every day. I'm starting to meditate again because I stopped for a couple of months. And it's definitely not advisable. Not so in the end, it was purely for the spiritual reasons why this body was meditating. But when you stop, I don't advise it because it really helps the body. It keeps the body calmer. The nervous system I found much better. The mind was calmer for all the years. So on that aspect, I'm restarting meditation for the body, or the body is, because it is not because you think it's going to reach enlightenment, because there's no one in the body, there's no separate one to reach enlightenment. You're the one watching the body. You are what's observing the body, and you're not in the body observing it. That sense of you isn't in a set place and time. It's an illusion that you can feel that. You say go within, but it's not in a set location. It hasn't got a location. Anyway, that's what I say. What's making you feel that you're in a body and the body still appear real and solid is because you really believe you are a person in a body and you're called Susan and you're playing this character, but you're not. You're observing the character, and that energy will start dissipating if you can keep that point of focus and believe, because obviously it's a strong momentum of believing that you're a person living a life and in a body. It's been going on a long time, so you've got to give that energy a chance to weaken and dissolve back into what you really are, which is energy, moving. And there's no world and store. Bloody amazing. Actually, when it tells you, when it appears, it's like, what? It's bloody amazing, man. That's all. So I say you can laugh when you realize it's not really real. And I know it's very hard, and I do understand that, because it's a big shock to the system when you find out, because you don't believe how the belief that you are real is so strong, even when you so-called awakened on the spiritual path, because when it actually is shown that it's not, it was a big shock here. It's a huge paradox when I realized my children weren't mine, because you are so, like, was like, oh, you don't have children, they're not real. And it's like, and nothing was real. It was a huge paradox. There was a lot, the mind, you see, because then you're still believing there's a separate one, you're listening to the mind. So very interesting paradox to go through. So it's very difficult to tell people when you're watching what's going on out there, because like this one, you've got patterns of behavior, learned behaviors, past, it's just everything's just going around, repeating itself. So these things come up, different triggers for different people. So it's depending on the patterns and beliefs that those bodies hold, or how strong, it's, they're going to respond to external triggers or external beliefs, external patterns that they hold. And this one's no different, this body. But they're getting a lot weaker, because it's a story, it's an illusion, you don't buy into it. There's the judgment as well. You understand we're experiencing a shift in the duality. It's just swung now to the dark again. They're having their little chance, their little run. They are, out in the front now and making a lot of noise, and it's swung to that direction, because that's how it goes. It's just how we respond to it. That's it. And why it's there. And then it won't bother you, especially when you realize none of it's real. You close your eyes, the world disappears. There's no world out there. There isn't any people really either. Anyway. All right, getting a bit tired, guys. So I definitely do miss the beautiful people I met on here. A lot of them have also pulled off or not active, because because we were all on here. It really was a group, and the content now is, so the people that like this kind of content also, are not finding it on here. You can't find new people if you're not following them, because your algorithms are just blocking you in. It's very not positive. They're being used at the moment for because I say it's swung towards the opposite. So it's being used for negative purposes to push negative content and beliefs and programs and nasties, you know what I mean? So you're being force-fed narratives and videos and things you do not want to see, and then just you can't seem to choose or get away from or find the content you want. Doesn't happen. Whereas I found Google, funny enough, had more organic content on YouTube, because it really does seem to watch. The AI is really trained to see what you like and watch. So you keep choosing it and you've selected that, you'll keep getting it. But it's still now, as I say, everything's kind of gone that direction. They still are starting to push stuff which I didn't used to see, and coming in more of that and trying to, yeah. But we just got to understand why this is all surfacing. Not judge it, not reject it, fight it. As I say, like anything, these are all things are appearing. Thank you. Sweet. For everybody, none is loved better than others. Nothing is loved more than anything else either. No thing, no object, no person. Everything is the one, so it's loved equally. Whether it's a grain of sand, a person, a tree, all is lovely. So beautiful. Such an amazing thing, actually. Such love for itself. It's such love. It has so much love. Have you felt that love? You know it's incredible. It's overwhelming, that love. It's so beautiful. It's incredible. That energy, that love is so amazing for what you are. It's just unbelievable. All right, so there we are. We're tired now, sorry, and the brain is battling. I am battling at the moment, the health. So it's really going to have to take a concerted effort over Christmas even to be careful. Limit Christmas. I'm going to cheat, obviously, because it's Christmas. So I'm going to do Christmas Day. But it's really a concerted effort now. I'm going to have to get into a routine. Getting up at a certain time, exercising, meditating, really try. Just to assist the body. But as I say, let's say, there's no knowing and control if the body's going to stick around or not. I don't know. Like I say, the other day, it threatens sometimes to leave the planet. It threatens, it's going, because maybe it's tired. So there's also love and compassion for the body. We're not trying to make it, if the body's, lost one day, another 10 years, who knows? We don't know. But there is a shame. It's been through a lot. So there's love and compassion when the body starts defaulting here. There's there's love and compassion because you understand what this body's been through, and this heart. So it was no surprise. So even you just have sympathy for the body, actually. So it doesn't fear what's going on. But there's no oh my gosh, worrying about checking out or not. There's no worry. If it's okay, it's all right, body. You try and actually comfort the body. I think you try and comfort it, so it doesn't fear its own demise, because there's nothing else in that. There's no besides the body. It's just the body. But anyway, so let's see. We're still here, just to let you know, but there's no guarantees on that, as I say. Let's see how we before we managed to reverse everything. So if we're able to reverse everything again and get the body all back to good and functioning, it'll be nice and healthy for its age, and considering what it's pummeled through, we could try and have some sort of normal life. That would be nice. But if that's not meant to be, as I'm saying, everything is duality. You've also got to remember, this is duality. And as I was saying, the first half of this, 95%, more than 95%, whatever. Yeah, actually, think about it, from a child in its preschool, whatever, of this body's life was like so extremely overworked, imbalanced, the opposite. it was so productive, active, a workaholic. So now so what happens? The end of life. So if you look at this whole life, it's been like do, go, 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 physically active, everything. In all ways, his body was just, work-wise, physical. It was just like, everybody bunny. So now it's funny, the brakes, well, it kind of got the brakes, it came to dead end, hit the wall, and now it's like, so now think about it. Same with your life. The end of the life, the body's like, it can't. So now it can't do that. Now it's forced to slow down. Everything's quiet, slow. There's no work. You know what I mean? And it seems to be, so you've also got to be aware of that. This is a duality thing. So as I say, if I found, and this is good lessons on the journey, don't resist what comes up. Because if there's full acceptance, you allow it to leave. So if there's a full acceptance of what this body's going through and the deterioration, the cognitive, wow. And there's no denying it. The cognitive decline here is like, wow. The speed the brain is processing is like, whoa. Like there is, wow. Very slow. So there's acceptance of that, all right. And if that is how it goes or not, or gets better, we are allowing it. You understand the positive, the thing, and you go with the flow, and we are allowing it's okay, and you do your thing, and let's see how, as I say, what happens. Let's see. But it's, yeah, it really battles. It's like the computer, it's on functioning, it's like a fourth of the speed, you know what I mean? It's like, wow. So there we are. Okay. It's still the intelligence, the awareness and everything else is there. So you can see what's going on. It's like, you know what I mean, the real self is functioning at full speed, but what's coming through to the body's function, the brain, as it comes through that's the problem. What gets filtered through the body, the brain and the body are just too slow. It's processing. It's like from as a thought into speech into action is like, wow, super slow. So traveling would, even that's a bit dodgy because the brain's not functioning, as I said, fast enough to like, oh, the train's changed platforms. You need to change platforms before you miss the train. It's information, let's say, the speed of the process is, but that's what's happening now. And if we allow that, we don't say it's wrong, we don't fight, and we, as I say, do all these things. Let's see if it will, change for as I say, we allow it to go through this again, and we let go of the outcome. We give it all, say, the attention, the focus, the this, that, and the help it can physically. There we are. Take each day as it comes, There we are. All right. I'm sending you all so much love. So much love. You love no matter what. Of course, because you all are, as I say, creations of the same one. You're all appearances. So you're appearing for a very good reason or of choice. So there we are. Everything is loved, no matter if it has a different opinion, if it has a different outlook, if it is an energy, because it's the same thing. It's a game of duality. So all have to be there. All are valid. All are loved, no matter what role they're playing, no matter what their beliefs and their Please try and understand that. Okay. Understand why it's all appearing now, and why it's all reappearing in humanity's history now, for it to for them to choose the path of the story they want to keep creating, and the next dream. Which version of Earth, as it splits now, do these? Do they want to recreate? There we are, new Earth, or carry on in the same old, cycles, self-destruct. There's many Options is infinite. It's infinite. Timelines, many choices. So some will choose to take a more negative version of Earth, an experience of the Earth, self-destructive one or whatever, and that's fine. You must understand. You know what I mean? This is infinite dream. There's nowhere to go, no one to go anywhere. So everything is fine. Everything is loved and accepted. All. Okay. Head is sore now. Time for some more tea and I think sleep as well. Feeling a bit buggered. As I say, when you can see the difference when you haven't watched your diet carefully, huge difference. I have to be very strict. How much love to you too, darling. That's what I'm saying. It's so sad because there are such beautiful people on here I've met. It's a pity the content has changed. You know, you don't want to spend too much time on here. I do come on and I have a good scroll sometimes, only because you can't avoid the stuff they're trying to force it down you. So you can see these patterns, as I say, the collective, and it's very clear to see them, and you understand them, and you understand why they're appearing in humanity, and you can see things they can't see, and that's why you're sad. You realize that they're going to self-destruct, but they can't see it. And they exactly, the projection, they're always looking for the enemy out there. It's like, no. Okay. All right. I'm tired. Lovely. I'll try and come on again, but as I say, let's just see what happens. Let's see what happens. Let's get this. It's difficult if I now start being strict again, because the brain also struggles when I convert. Sort of, it's a funny dance, because then the brain struggles in with energy when you try and force it back into ketos again. So I'm going to have to be careful. I want to try and be strict keto. No, they're just bodies and no people. But that's what I'm saying. It's a game of duality. So at the moment, the dark is, is having their chance. They are in the forefront and out there and taking over and running things at the moment and doing their thing. And, there we are, let it. Because there's options. They're giving you, they have to put, provide the duality. They're providing the option in the game for the bodies to choose to better options. Anyway, that is to say, I do miss all the beautiful people. Beautiful, beautiful people. It was such a positive, light gathering of beautiful, and there were so many of them. It was that's what I'm saying. This platform was just light and light workers, and then now it's gone. So there we are. It's duality. They have as much right to be, because all is the one. So it has no preference, and they have as much right to exist in the dream, as it wouldn't be here, as anything else does, because the lighter the light gets, the darker the dark. So it's contrast. So it's natural. The light got so light and is getting higher, so will that. So just understand that, and then you don't worry, you don't get frightened, and you don't think, oh my gosh. I've shared that content to remind people, don't think negatively about what you're seeing, and understand why you're seeing this. So you won't react negatively to this, to what's appearing now, to the dark, to the the opposite, the negative, the dark, the narratives, the hate, the divide. Why it's there, and don't react negatively or out of fear or out of rejection to it. Understand why it's appearing, and then it won't affect you. And don't focus on it. Send it love. See the pattern. Oh, that's why it's appearing. You see, like it does in your thing, to choose a different reaction, and then it will go. It's because we refuse to accept or deny these things in yourself, in the collective. They're appearing again for us to, same thing. It's shadow work. Understand, see it, accept it, love it, release. Thank you. That's all it is on a big scale. Okay. Anyway, I do miss everybody. Miss all the beautiful people on here. And hopefully that this platform or another platform appears with that kind of content. We won't be manipulated. The algorithms are used. And it will be really for the people to express among themselves like they did, whatever they want to do. Share their laundry, their baby. It was pure. unbelievable, actually, platform. It's fascinating. It was really interesting. And very good. Obviously needed. That's why I took off. All right. So much love, everybody. Please be understanding, be loving, or try. Try. Okay. Be safe. Well, if I'm not, anyway, there we are. The body's not. It's just this body. Don't worry. This body's, if it's meant to be here, it will be. If it disappears, as I said the other night, it looked like it was going to go. I find, you see, if I know everybody else gets upset because they really, obviously they're going to get upset. I don't tell my children things like that because they will not find it amusing or take it lightly. So I just don't tell people that are frightened about you or don't want you to go because they really believe you're the body. So I don't tell them the body is playing up or it wants you to check out again because they're like, oh my God. They want you to rush off to a doctor, which will do nothing, and give you an ECG and tell you you're fine anyway, as they did. So don't worry. If the body doesn't go, if the body checks out, it checks out. There's a nice legacy. There's videos. There's guidance. There's love. And a new dream will appear. Same with you. Remember, you're not the body. There's no one in the body to die. All that happens when the body dies is you'll find yourself looking at it. You are dreaming this. All these characters and things are in you. It's your story. Like in your dream at night, you're imagining it. So there's no one to die. Literally, there's no one to die. The story comes to an end, like your dream, and you wake up. Okay. That's all. All right. Lots of love. Bye.